Hello, yogis. This is G. My name is G Moon. Uh, I'm here to practice with you. We're gonna do yin yoga today. By the way, happy International Yoga Day. I think it's June 21st, but it's been uh, nice full week of the yoga international yoga event that has been going on, and I hope uh, this is nice event help you to re-anchor, okay, down into your practice. Thinking of the yoga practice at this time, like I cannot imagine how I go through this time without my practice. I actually heard about the same thing with from many people. Yeah, so it is now, yoga is more and more affordable, like you can actually pretty much do everywhere. So yeah, I hope you take some time, and then allow yourself to be rested and to be nourished with your yoga practice. So yoga is actually designed for that. Okay, so maybe you have been doing in yoga, so you know it very well, and maybe some of you are very new to this practice. If that is your case, there's nothing to worry about. It's very slow and an easy pace. Okay, so there will be a lot of time for you to process and also maybe modify if it's needed for you. Okay, so I'm thinking to do very simple and very easy practice today. Okay, so yoga actually doesn't require much. Okay? All it requires to you is just relax, just calm down. That's it. Isn't that nice? Um, but if you have some props, they will be actually a great help. So I have a bunch of blankets here. I just yeah, brought two, and then I have a bolster, and I have a one block right here, and a strap. So if you guys have those, it will be very handy to, throughout your practice. Okay, so yeah, I encourage you to bring some of those, and then since our practice will be much more still, quiet, and subtle, if you can find a quiet space, okay, it'll be really great. Okay, so uh, take your time, okay, to just look around and see how you can make the room a bit more, relaxing. Okay, and with a lot of props. Okay, and if you are like maybe like easily distracted person, I recommend you to have some music over your practice, but not like fun pop music, more very soothing, quiet, possibly like no human voice in it, will be much better. Okay, so but if you have are easily concentrate, I recommend you just keep that room nice and quiet. Okay. Um, what else? Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay. Uh, so feel free to use music or not. That's your choice. But if you're putting music, please keep it also a little bit quiet so that you actually have to pay attention to in order to listen to music. Okay. So it's more that you are oozing into the music. Okay. So in order to be with it rather than let it keep it loud. So you just kind of like letting it just be there a whole time. Okay, so it's going to be the alternation between your breathing, the body, and the music if you have it. Okay, otherwise it will be just your breathing and the body that will continuously alter the mind to be concentrated. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. So let's start with the looking around. Okay, the props what we have. So if you can grab a couple of blankets, I recommend you have one blanket, uh, opening it up. Okay, so you make the blanket bigger, okay, so that you can cover your mat. Okay, so the wider, the longer will be better. So I'm gonna just go about this much. Okay, and then once you get ready with that, so if you can sit with your both sit bones down, and then if you find you're leaning back, okay, see if you can have your knees bent so that your bottom of it coming closer to each other. Then you are more than welcome to wiggle your butt again, and then see if that's a little bit more helpful for you to lean, yeah, forward. Okay? So yeah, please everybody try that. So if you still feel like you're pushed back, you might want to have a second blanket, just a thin layer. So you put that, okay, right under the sit bones, only just the edge. So you kind of almost like you're sitting the edge of the blanket. Okay. So then you might be able to tilt your pelvis forward a little bit more easily. Okay. So see if that helps. Sometimes it doesn't. So if it doesn't do anything, maybe it makes actually makes it more uncomfortable, please just feel free to remove it. So what we want to do is to bring the bottom of it close to each other, and they are obviously in front of you, but not right in front of your groin. Okay, move them a little bit more forward. Okay, and then you might want to have your feet very touching to each other. You might have feet slightly more apart. Okay, that's you can decide by you try it out. Okay, so once you're there, palms down on the ground, and then we're going to start with a slow exhalation, eyes closed. You can put your hands anywhere, okay, outside of your shins. Okay, for me, like back of shin on the floor actually works just fine. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. And eyes closed here. Then please take a few moments just feeling the breath. And noticing the breath, being aware of the breath. If that helps you to soften in the pose a little bit, could you go with that? What that means we are softening the neck, we are softening the shoulders and the upper back. So when I allow the tension slowly fade away from the neck, from the upper back, I feel my spine becoming more rounded, my head, forehead face down towards the floor and drops. This might be very uncomfortable for you. Okay. Then you can grab your block, put that maybe on top of your feet, maybe between the feet, and then support your hand. That's completely legit. Then you might arrange your hands a little different in your arms. So more than welcome to use the block to support the weight of the head if that is too heavy. Okay, meaning if you're if you feel a lot of stretching, that might make you uncomfortable along the spine, along the back. You choose to use the block. But maybe some of you really enjoy that long stretching all the way throughout the spine down to your lower back. If you wish to increase the stretching, there's one thing you can think about. Are you relaxed? Can you be even more relaxed by letting go of that tension that coming from the mind and I want more stretching?
So that's a very interesting part of yin yoga. When you let go of the grasping mind, there's a whole different thing, whole different world revealing right in front of you. And smooth, slow exhalation here. And now let's gradually roll out of the pose. Please put your both palms down on the floor behind you. So we're going to gently lean towards it. Then you can stretch out your legs. Then go ahead, guys. Lie down on your back all the way. Your arms are open. And absolutely relaxing the body, lying on the floor, nothing to hold on to, nothing to fix. Now, could you gently bend your knees? And then, if you have a block, you can absolutely use the block for next pose that we're gonna go from here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my block just to show you first. My preference is the bolster. Okay, so if you have bolster, maybe you consider to use that, but you have just a block, maybe stack of thick books. Okay, you can lift your pelvis up and then place that okay, right under your sacrum. Okay, sacrum is like behind your pubic bone. So what that means, you don't want to put your block under your lower back. Okay, the block gotta be right under the sacrum. Then how you know that when you relax your the weight of pelvis onto the block, you feel a little bit of a sagging action towards your lower back. Okay, so that means the lower back is not supported. So you might be here, knees bent. So maybe your arms open, or you can have your legs stretched out. That could feel really great. That could feel a little bit too much towards your lower back. That if that's your case, you bend the one knee, and I can let you know, and you're halfway, and you can alternate with the other one. Okay, so or you can have both knees bent, of course. So that's one way. If you're already comfortable there, please stay. Some of you guys are blocked. It's too hard. And I have bolster. Then please grab the bolster, put that in the middle, and then we start from sitting on it. Okay? Then hands go on the ground behind your back, and then we can slowly climb down. So same thing. I want to make sure the block bolster is right under the sacrum. So it might support the top of the hamstring, but that's absolutely fine. Actually, that's even better. Okay. So once again, not under the lower back. Okay. So if you decide to have your legs stretched out, good you guys. Allow a little more space between your feet. So feet are wide apart and arms are wide open. Eyes closed. I hope you feel safe and secure in your home. So you have all your arms wide open and letting your body become heavier, sinking down into the ground. But of course, there's no judgment. If you feel a little bit insecure about that, you might just bring your fingertips, your palms, just slightly, subtly touching your torso or right on your bolster. Okay, so please feel free to decide where and how you're going to leave your arms. The operant positions are very much related to your, you know, energy flow and also mind state. So this is, by the way, how we're going to continue the practice. So I guide you guys in a very slow way to one pose. And we stay in one pose for 3 minutes. So you have a long time, good enough time that you can explore the body, investigate your breathing, pay attention on your mind. And after then, I let you know it's a time to come out. So coming out, we make it very slow, slow transition. And then we don't rush to the next pose. We take a good enough time in our micro savasana, just a few breaths. Continuing the exploration internally to your breath, to the mind, to the body. And slow exhale. If your knees are extended, could you bend the knees one at a time? And then pelvis come lifted just a little bit in order to remove your props. Oh, I forgot to let you know the halfway point. I'm sorry about that. So when you guys lower the pelvis down, you're gonna once again take an pre-savasana here. This is basically has the same purpose with the savasana you do after vinyasa practice. Just lying down, stay calm, and observe the sensations through the body, the flow of the breath, and the state of your mind. The only difference is we took one pose, but there's still a lot we can observe, we can learn, and we can understand. Please slowly have your knees bent. Then you can gradually roll to one side. Then go ahead, gently push yourself up to come out of the pose. Okay, and then let's move on to tabletop pose. I'm gonna face this way this time. For the next pose, you might want to have a pillow or folded cushion just in case. Okay, you may want to use that, you may not. So since I'm in this way, I'm gonna go from the left side. So I bring my left knee bent and move it forward. And I try to stretch out the right leg, which means we bring the pelvis down low towards the ground. Okay. So I try that and see my pelvis is not quite all the way down. And then you can see the space between my left hip and the ground, right? So I'm gonna use my blanket right there. So I have it folded and I actually put down my left hip really nicely there. And then now it's a lot easier for me to already relaxing the lower body. Okay.
And then you're gonna bring your elbows down. And then some of you guys might like to just relax your head from there. Some of you might like to have a block again under your forehead. Many people just wanna flop down all the way. But that's not my story. So I'm gonna stay on my elbows. Okay, so you wanna stick with your story. Okay, and you wanna actually investigate deeply about that. Okay? What's that about? Okay, how you react to it or how you embrace it. Okay, so say that this pose works great for you. Please stay where you are. Okay, but with even some prop, you're not quite getting it in a comfortable way, and then your right knee is pressing into the floor so hard. That means the yeah, it's not gonna really beneficial for your body. Okay, so then you don't want that. So in that case, if I show you from here, could you first put down your left hip all the way down and then draw the right knee up towards your left foot? So I'm kind of sitting a little bit sideways, right? So I'm gonna move my hands more towards that, a little bit towards the right side. And then I go down on my elbow same way and then relax my head. So it looks different. It's this pose name is called deer pose, which is a variation of the pigeon pose, but that doesn't mean this pose is lesser than the pigeon pose. I'm actually going to do deer pose because it feels really great for my left hip. So if you're curious about it, I invite you guys to try both either of the poses and then see which way it actually makes uh, a lot easier and then deeper connection to your left hip at the moment. Deer pose is only work a little differently from the pigeon pose, okay? But still um, targeting the stimulating your left hip. So that's what we want. Okay, through this pose. Not so much how perfectly you do pigeon pose. And then who can define what's the perfection of the pigeon pose? You gotta once again stick with your story. And then understand it. And even if you have a good relationship with it, okay, the interesting part of the story is continually changing day by day, moment by moment. So it is actually hard to say for us that we know the story so well. So once again, eyes closed. I invite you guys take a nice deep exhalation, letting go of that knowing mind. And then completely, fully be present with what you're feeling right now at this moment. Where you feel, what do you feel, and how you react. So holding one pose longer in practice gives us a lot more opportunity to contemplate about your body, the body in the pose, and the relationship between yourself and what's happening in the pose.
A nice, slow, slow exhalation. Let Jenny bring the palms back on the floor. And then you guys can then super carefully lift your buttocks up. And then both knees are going to be next to each other. And then go down on your belly. And then this is the version of a savasana. We're going to rest this time. Let go through the deep exhalation. Let go of the tension. Let go of the wandering mind. And then before we move on to the next side pigeon or deer pose, I'm going to ask you to come up on your knees. You know what? And actually come up on your palms and knees like a tabletop pose. And then let's walk the both side of the knees to the left side. So you can put down your right hip on the floor. Then we're gonna go actually lie down from there like this. I see you, my right side of body on the floor, and then my knees are right now together, okay, kind of stacking to each other. And then, so I'm don't worry about this much part so much, but I'm gonna just leave them just like that for now. And then actually more about is your it's more about your upper body. So see if you can wiggle your ribs a little bit as you gently turning your chest to face up and then slowly opening your arms. And then please guys take a moment. Okay? We seriously there's a never need to rush to settle down into the pose. Okay, settle down. Yeah, by definition, it actually you know happens. It's not that you make it settle. Okay, so please take a moment to feel what's around your both thighs, your left hip joint, maybe knees apart, something like that. Okay, so my knees can be together, but I actually don't really feel comfortable with my left hip joint and the hip area. So I'm gonna have a block between my knees, and then actually reduce that uncomfortable sensation here. All right. And then, so please feel free to grab a prop, okay, to place between the legs. And then when you guys have your arms wide open, you want to make sure both of your arms heavy and dropped. So it's of course possible your left arm is kind of like floating around in the air. And once again, then you want to have a folded blanket or block booster under your left arm. So your left arm is on something and eventually it sinks down as you have your eyes closed and breathe long with your awareness. You soften the jaw, you soften the facial muscles, and that muscular relaxation softening process flows through the body. So the big part of in yoga practice is obviously relaxation. So it sounds good. You can relax in your in practice, in yoga practice. But relaxation is definitely not something we do. If you try to relax, it's gonna be actually go to the opposite direction.
can guide your body and help it to be effortless. And then once you feel there's not much muscular energy involved, from that point, you start let go. Actually, you start to forget about all the effort to make your body feel comfortable. And then remembering what you do. It's almost like you're just leaving the body as it is. And then awareness becomes greater and greater towards the breathing. And now, guys, if you have a block or anything on between the legs, please remove that. And then we're gonna turn around to face up towards the ceiling. So untwist the spine, stretching your legs back to our open Savasana. The front body soft and wide. Small deep exhalation. Go ahead, please. Bend your knees one at a time. Turning to one side so you can roll to right or left. So you come back up to tabletop pose. Again, my hair is so messy right now. Okay, so we're gonna move to the opposite side of pigeon or deer pose. Okay, so you've been doing pigeon pose whole time. Maybe you might want to try deer pose. Once again, it really works differently. So feel free to guys have your right leg forward, bend your left leg stretched out behind you. You want to have something under your right hip, you can do that. Okay, and then we're gonna go all down low towards the floor with the upper body too. Okay, so you can do it. And some of the guys might just, oh, I'm gonna just do deer pose. Please do. Your right hip comes down, your left knee bend is significantly coming up towards the right foot. Okay, I just want to have a blanket under my arms. So I'm gonna go from there. Two elbows are down. In this way, with a deer pose, I can actually relax the upper body a lot more easily. So I'm gonna do that. So um, if you had a long week with a lot of work and stress, that's the one thing you might want to consider. How to soften the upper body, such as your shoulders, shoulder blades, your ribs, your neck, okay, a lot more easily. Because when we have a lot of stress, okay, the energy, chi or prana, tend to rise up and stuck, okay, in the upper body space. So that makes us tensed up. Makes us feel some certain sense of pressure and an even headache. So in those times, what you want to think about how to bring the energy down. And one of those ways to do that is to relaxing the upper body. And then once you feel comfortable in your pose, pigeon pose or deer pose, your eyes closed,
And now pay attention on your breathing. Excuse me, my dog is here. Piper, you cannot be here. Come on, come on, go. Sorry. Here's my new puppy. Once again, in yoga practice doesn't really require a lot from you, but certainly you can be a lot more skillful in this practice. And the first step is finding a good way that your body can relax into a pose. And from that point, maybe you can become more still, being in the pose for a few minutes. Let's now place the palms on the floor. So we gently come out of the pose. Whether you're in deer pose, you're in a pigeon pose, please guys make the transition very slow. That's very important when you're doing yoga, okay? So go down on your belly and then we're gonna rest there for a few moments. Belly down, breathing in and out. Then let's move on to the next pose. In order to do that, you need to go up to tabletop pose first. And then moving the knees a little bit to the right side. So when I put my hip down, it's my left hip. Then go ahead, guys, put your left shoulder down. Before you bring your arms open, could you, place your legs more comfortably? Okay. And then as you guys turn your chest, rather than just opening your right arm, I recommend you guys like we lift up your rib and then down just a few times of the left rib, okay, up and down, so that we actually that way increase the range of the spinal twist, okay, and then your arms are wide open. So once again, pay attention on the leg situation. Okay, as your right arm open, your legs will be a little bit apart. Okay, so please don't make effort to put them together so hard. No need. Okay, so I'm gonna use a block again between my legs because my legs got apart, and then filling up the space. And arms are open here. Right arm is not quite on the floor. Please feel free to use some prop under the right arm. And slow deep exhalation with your eyes closed. At this point, if you start feeling the stillness of the body in each pose, I encourage you guys to pay attention in that stillness.
A very subtle, soft breathing. And then a very also subtle desire of not moving, desire to stay. A very interesting thing about the mind, when you notice such interesting, unusual desires to be still, to be calm, to stay peaceful, the mind also starts signaling other kinds of distractions. So when you do quiet practice, it is pretty common that you need that moment to choose, choose to stay calm and still, or to choose to go with the whatever the distraction is. So I invite you guys pay attention on that. The stillness of the body, the quiet breathing, and the state of your mind. If you use the block, please remove it. And then knees gonna come super slowly up. So we untwist the back first. And then align the spine again in neutral position. Then moving back to Savasana. Sometimes that deep sense of stillness, desire not to move, is a lot more clear to feel in Savasana like this. When that sense of letting go is a lot greater in your consciousness. Alright, guys. We're gonna move to the next pose right from here. Isn't that nice? You can stay lie down. Okay, so what we're gonna do is called the banana pose. Okay, so you can keep your legs apart, maybe to the two edge of your mat. Okay, so I'm gonna leave my right leg right here and then move my left ankle, stacking right over my right ankle. By doing so, I actually feel already it's too much pushed to my right side, so I'm gonna move a little bit towards the center. So I feel a little more comfortable, okay, from the hip, pelvis down to the feet. And then the next part is the moving the head to the right side. So I'm gonna lift the head up and then wiggle my upper body going to the right side too. But I'm not eager to pull all the way to the right side too. So I'm gonna try to pay attention how I feel on my left IT band and the oblique. So I feel a little bit of stretching, and I think that's just fine. I feel just a little bit. Okay, I'm not going for intense stretching. That's one thing very important for you guys to keep in your mind. Okay, so you don't want to do intense stretching. Okay, so once you're there, let's place the left elbow right over your face, and then you can place the very part of your forearm right on the forehead. So almost like a left arm just resting over your face. Okay, that's more precisely left arm resting over your forehead. That's actually where I'm gonna leave my left arm. And all smooth exhalation, can you now bring the right palm nicely touching your lower your belly. Through the positioning of your right hand on the belly, you can easily feel how gradually belly expanding, belly contracting. If you don't really feel your belly moving up and down as you breathe, I recommend you guys to actually train that. When you do in yoga practice, you don't need to breathe with the upper body. Like when you run, okay? Like when you do vinyasa yoga, or when you do weightlifting. Now it is time for your belly breathing. So please make sure you breathe through the belly, slow and long, soft, quiet. Body resting is there is a sensation that you can still feel. Mind quiet as it stays with a soft, easy inhalation and exhalation. Slow, slow exhale. Could you remove your right hand away from the belly? And then let's move the left arm super slowly. Okay? Even if you can move it quicker, please consciously move slowly. All right? And then legs gonna be apart first, and then your upper body comes the last. Back to Savasana. If there is urge to breathe out long and loud like a sigh, please do. That's gonna help you to reduce that stagnation of the chi, the energy on your upper body. Increase this gentle, smooth circulation of the energy throughout the body. And then in that, you feel more peaceful. In that, you feel more evenness of the mind. And then let's do the opposite side. So please, guys, bring the right ankle over to the left ankle. So maybe this works great for you. Sometimes it doesn't. Then it's easy quickly a mind jump into judgmental mode. Okay, please uh, don't be tricked by that, okay? Because there's nothing wrong about not doing it. Okay, so you can even just put your feet together, close to each other, towards the left side, or you can have your left ankle over the right side. Okay, because they are already moved to the left side, the result is going to be about the same. Okay, or at least similar. Okay, and then we move the rest, the upper body, including your head, to the left side. So if you look at me from the above, from the ceiling, I am in a like long stretch, the C curve. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so starting with a bit of feeling on your IT band, probably the bit, more of the side of your hip and the oblique, okay, on your right. So once that is done, then I bring the right arm right in front of your face. So note, take a note, guys, that I am keeping my right elbow bent. I'm not stretching it out. Okay, so having the joint is easy. Having the joint super easy. I'm gonna just put the forearm right on my forehead, and then left palm nice touching the belly, and the rest of thing is very simple. Just breathing in and out. Personally, I think that that's the greater strength of in yoga, the simplicity. It's not complicated. Even there are just a few poses when you do in yoga practice. But it's a very simple. So all you have to do is just to practice. Maybe you find yourself not quite relaxing, not quite concentrated. That's also fine. Just do your best to the level that you feel comfortable for the day at this moment. And then you can try it again. You can practice again, okay, next time. Hopefully not far later. Okay, so hopefully soon. So be loving, be friendly, and be forgiving to yourself and embrace whatever experience you are having right now. Very slowly moving the right arm first and the left. We're going to take the feet apart, super slow and careful. And then head and upper body comes the last. Going into Savasana. Deep, long exhale. Letting go.
Now, please slowly bend your knees. Roll to the right side. If you prefer left, you can. Then slowly, slowly push yourself up to sitting position. Messy hair again. I'm gonna sit on my block, even if just 1 minute that I have with you. Thank you so much to practice with me today, and there are a lot more great programs is aligned for the day. So I hope you guys look for other practice together with other teachers too. And if you're wondering about in yoga and see how you can continue practicing in yoga, you can find me in Urban Breath Yoga. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and happy International Yoga Day. Namaste.